Hello, Paul.
Hello, Luca.
So, tell me about the religious offence controversy surrounding the recent Paris Olympics opening ceremony. What was all that about?
Sure. Well, a lot of people, mainly Christians, felt upset about what they saw as an image of Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper being mocked in a segment of the opening ceremony.
I see. But it's a bit more complicated than that, isn't it? Because this interpretation is contested.
Absolutely. According to the organisers of the opening ceremony, they were not trying to represent the Last Supper, and they've suggested that that scene is influenced by a 17th century painting, The Feast of the Gods, by a Dutch artist, which depicted a scene on Mount Olympus of a Bacchanalia, featuring the god Dionysius. So this appears to have been a nod to the ancient Greek origins of the Olympics. And some of the offence taken in response to the opening ceremony also seems to relate to some of the figures behind the table, being from the LGBTQI+ demographic.
Right, I see. I guess, given how pervasive the image of Da Vinci's Last Summer is in popular culture, it's not possible to rule out that it was some kind of an inspiration for the opening ceremony. But then the Last Supper is itself a 15th century piece of art, likely inspired by earlier, potentially non-Christian imagery. Despite this, it seems that many have been further upset by attempts to suggest that the opening ceremony scene was not a reference to the Last Supper, and have even described these kind of attempts as a form of gaslighting.
Yes, but of course art is open to many different interpretations, and we'll naturally see this. And of course Da Vinci's representation where everyone's on one side of the Last Supper is not the only way that Christians have historically depicted the Last Supper. And it's not definitive of what the Last Supper means for Christians. So throughout time, people have been inspired by works of art from their own culture, from other cultures, and they used them, reused them, and this is sort of how society and art and culture develops.
I see, that makes sense. We seem to be seeing a lot of people taking offence in the context of their religious identity. Is this something which is happening more nowadays?
Yeah, good question. Religious offence, of course, is not a new thing, but maybe because of social media, we're seeing religious offence being spread much more widely and rapidly. Before, perhaps a single individual or a small group of individuals would get upset about something, but nowadays this can easily morph into something of a mass movement, with claims and counterclaims passing back and forth very quickly.
All right, so considering this is happening, and that we live in a globally interconnected world, how might you recommend people in a society like Singapore react to this kind of controversy?
Well, first, of course, not all Christians were offended by this. They're not a monolithic group. And as we've mentioned, art is open to interpretation in any case. So certainly offending Christians doesn't seem to have been the intent of the organisers. Having said that, we need to recognise and take seriously that some people are offended by certain things. But throughout, it's important to maintain calm and clear heads, and to sort of model good conversations to help us navigate some of the complexities that arrive when controversies like this go viral.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Luca.